Hello. Right, okay, so we're just doing this example now, so no frills or fuss. I will make my proper video later, but alright, so as of right now, we're just going to go over this example of how to solve a trig equation. So find all solutions for 2 cosine 2 theta equals -1 for theta is between 0 and 360 degrees. So first what we do is I need to get cosine on its own. I need to get the cosine function on its own. So I have a 2 in front of it. So what I need to do is I need to divide both sides by 2. So I'm going to have cosine 2 theta equals -1 over 2. Right? Now that I have that sorted, I can start doing my regular stuff. So when I'm solving a trig equation, I first need to find what region this angle lies in. Well, cosine is negative, so remember sex and the city. So cosine is negative. That means it's going to be in my second and third region. Next step, I have to calculate my reference angle. So cos, I'm actually just going to say or for my reference angle. That makes sense. So cos or equals, then if I'm doing my reference angle, I need to get rid of the minus here. So this is going to be a half. So or is just going to be cosine inverse of a half. My reference angle is going to be equal to cosine inverse a half is 60. So my reference angle is 60 degrees. Next step, I need to find my two angles. So if you recall here, so if it's in the first quadrant, it's just my reference angle. If it's in the second quadrant, it's 180 minus my reference angle. If it's in my third quadrant, it's 180 plus my reference angle. And if it's in the fourth quadrant, it's 360 minus my reference angle. So we are in the second and third region. So my reference angles is going to be 180 minus 60 and 180 plus 60. So that's going to be 120, and that is going to be 240 degrees. Right, so that's what we got up to so far. Now I want to find all the possible solutions for this. So we usually ask to find all solutions when we have like a 2 or like a coefficient in front of my angle part here, right? That kind of speeds up the rotations part of it. So we just need to, so when we have a number in front of my angle part, that's when we need to find all solutions. So what we need to do is, I'm just going to move this over here. What we need to do is, so I have now my two reference angles up here. What I need to do is I need to find my general solutions. So my general solutions are going to be, so my reference angle, so or 1, that's like my angle 1 or whatever. I could say A1, whatever. Well, angle is equal to 120. My original angle is equal to 2 theta. So I need to say 2 theta is equal to 120. And I need to add my general component to make it a general equation. So I need to do 120 plus n times 360, where n is like rotations, right? Then my next equation is 2 theta. It's going to equal 240 plus n 360. Right, I need to get theta on its own. So how do I do that? Well, I have a 2 in front of it, so I'm going to divide every term by 2. That's going to be 60 plus n. 360 divided by 2 is 180, so n 180. So that's my kind of my first equation. My second equation is going to be divide everything by 2 again. It's going to be 120 plus 360 divided by 2 is n 180. So I have theta is equal to 60 plus n 180, and I have theta is equal to 120 plus n 180. And finally, now I need to find all my solutions. Now that I have my general equation, to find all my solutions. Now the general rule of thumb is, right, so n kind of stands for rotations around the unit circle. My general rule of thumb is I do as many rotations as there are in front, as there are coefficients in front of my angle here. So if I have a 2 in front of my angle here, that means I do 2 rotations. So we're going to sub in n is 0, n is 1. If that was like a 3, it'd be n is 0, n is 1, n is 3. If that was 4, it'd be n is 0, n is 1, n is 2, n is 3, etc., etc. Right? Some questions might give you a wider range. Some questions might say find angles up to 720. So you need to keep adding and adding and adding. But general rule of thumb is they usually ask you between 0 and 360 degrees, and the general rule of thumb is you do as many rotations as the coefficient in front of the thing. So my coefficient was 2 theta, so I'm going to be subbing in values for n is equal to 0 and n is equal to 1. So let me just set up a little table here. I think a table might be some use for us. Then n is up here. So when n is equal to 0 and when n is equal to 1, sorry, so let's sub it in. 60 plus 0 times 180 is going to be equal to 60 degrees. That's my first solution. 60 plus 1 times 180. That's going to give me 240. That's my second solution. Then this equation here, 120 plus n 180. So it's going to be 120. So I'll say this equation 1, equation 2. 120 plus 0 times 180, which is just 120 degrees. And then here, 120 plus 1 times 180, which is going to be equal to 300 degrees. And there are my 4 solutions. 60, 240, 120, 300 are my 4 solutions. And if you were to put these back into your calculator, we should be getting negative a half for cosine. So let me just, here's my calculator here. So my original equation, if we remember, is, my original equation, if we just kind of go back up here, was 2 cosine 2 theta. So, so 2 cosine 2 theta equals minus 1. So let's see if all my solutions up here work. So the 60, 240, 120, 30. So open up a calculator, make sure it's in degrees. So just shift, set up, shift, set up, nope, shift, set up, nope. There you go, shift, set up, angle unit, degree, so I'm in degree mode. So 2 cosine 2 times, and my first angle is 60, equal to minus 1, gorge. So let's try for 240. Minus 1, gorge. Let's try for 120. My angle now is 120. Minus 1, perfect. And then finally 300. And gorge minus 1. So there you go. All my solutions are valid. And there you go. I had 4 solutions. I hope this video was some help. Do your work in study hall. Do it! Bye!